Magneto believes that a war is brewing between mutants and the rest of humanity.
Sure it is. Nobody really knows how many even exist.
But I say we are the cure.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and we're going to be talking about the start of one of our newest franchises, but one of the oldest superhero ones, and that is the X-Men franchise. Because we just picked up the 4K Blu-ray, it's been out a little while, but we're also going to talk about X-Men Origins Wolverine. So we're going to discuss both of those and their 4K and Blu-ray copies today, and then next week we'll talk about, the future trilogy. But let's dive right in. We'll start right off with X-Men from 2000.
Or is it the past?
Well, X-Men is one of those franchises where the timeline is very screwed up. Deadpool makes fun of it.
Yeah, they like to play with time and jump around a lot.
I know Matt has big problems with this, and we'll get into that. But hey, let's go back to 2000, where I saw X-Men in theaters, and I am still very nostalgic for this movie. I truly do love X-Men. But Matt, what did you think of X-Men?
Well, what did I think of X-Men? Well, I think I liked it. So, as a kid, this was like one of the first superhero movies. Is this before or after Spider-Man?
This is before Spider-Man. Before
right?
Spider-Man, but after Blade. So it's actually right in the middle, because Blade's 98 and
See,
is
Blade,
X-Men.
I saw Blade as a kid, but I never really considered that a superhero movie.
No.
Again, I wasn't a big Marvel guy as a kid, so I didn't really even know Blade was part of Marvel. Seeing X-Men, Wolverine was one of my favorite characters as a kid. I always watched the animated show, and I remember as soon as this movie came out, I had to have Wolverine, and I needed somebody for him to fight, so I had Sabretooth. And I still have these toys from a kid. But that was a great movie. I mean, I think it aged okay. It's not terrible. We just watched it. The 4K was actually pretty good.
Yeah, Matt thought the 4K was better than I thought of it. I watched this movie every year. I saw a little upgrade.
Did you really?
Yeah, the X-Men from 2000 I'm very nostalgic for.
I actually haven't watched that movie in like 10 years.
No, this is the only one, and we'll get to it later, but this is one of two X-Men movies that I watch every single year, and that's because I'm very nostalgic for this. I saw it in theaters when I was a kid. I love it, even though at the end it's clear they ran out of money because they're doing a lot of close-ups in the fight scenes, and it's clear they're just not a soundstage, they're not in the Statue of Liberty. I mean, obviously they wouldn't be, but...
A lot of wire work.
Yeah, it's very noticeably bad, but that doesn't take away from it. It doesn't take away from the excitement from 8-year-old John seeing this in theaters. So, I can't say a bad thing about it just because I won't allow myself to, but I can definitely see the badness that's in this movie. It's a lot slower than, they do a huge jump to X2 as far as the action goes. We never see Wolverine. It's not that violent compared to X2, because in X2 we get to see the claws go through somebody's head. Mm-hmm. So it's a very toned back version, but the introduction, like Matt said, the introduction to Wolverine.
Yeah.
That does it for me. I fell in love with Wolverine because I'm not a comic book reader, so for me this is my second favorite superhero behind Batman. So
Wolverine?
Yeah, I'm really into those dark guys with their messed up minds.
He's up there for me too.
Yeah. But what about X2?
X2, I like it. I mean, it seems to be everyone's favorite. I don't think it's bad. Again, I think it aged okay. These are 20-year-old movies just about. And, it was part of the time. Comparing it to an MCU movie, it's like it's not fair, because these are way before the MCU. So it's a good movie. There's some good elements. Some people don't like the stuff with Stryker. I kind of like Stryker. I don't know. There's something about 2 didn't make it my favorite. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. But there's just something about 2 that I don't love. I'm
actually going to echo that because when I was growing up, X2 came out, took the world by storm. Until 2008, when Iron Man and The Dark Knight came out, people would always say X2 was the best superhero movie. And I think that because, like Matt said, with the MCU and then the Dark Knight trilogy, that it kind of, I would say, ruined these movies. It just makes them feel very dated, kind of cheesy and corny, and even kind of slowly paced. It doesn't feel the same. It's really like a relic of its time, like the black leather and everything like that.
That was cool at the time.
It was cool at the time, but I don't think that these movies, or the whole trilogy in general, has aged very well compared to it's just the MCU and the Dark Knight trilogy took superhero movies to a level that we couldn't have imagined.
Right, yeah.
But as far as the 4K goes, I thought this was actually a lot better of a 4K than the original
I
X-Men.
think all the 4Ks were very good looking. So I mean, there's that.
It has a DTS 8.
They're all DTS.
Yeah, so there's no Dolby. Obviously these are pretty older 4Ks actually, but we just got them now, and we just decided, hey.
I didn't even know they were on 4K. Honestly.
Yeah, when I forgot that they actually had come to 4K. I remember when they came out, I was like, I don't think I need to upgrade them, and I finally decided to pull the trigger. I'm glad I did because they're actually pretty nice and a noticeable upgrade. But one thing that definitely didn't deserve an upgrade was X-Men: The Last Stand, because that's a pretty bad movie. As far as the whole trilogy goes, one of the best villains in the entire trilogy is Magneto. I think he's one of the best superhero villains ever.
Yeah.
But and he probably has the best scene with the bridge in this movie. So Ian McKellen is awesome as Magneto.
It was a cool scene, yeah.
Yeah, I think besides Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine, Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart are the other two big actors in the X-Men trilogy.
And Halle Berry.
Halle Berry was great as Storm, but again, I don't think her character has aged very well. I think she's like, every movie she's got like a different hairstyle. I feel like it's very much of the early 2000s. But Kelsey Grammer as Beast in The Last Stand.
Yeah, Beast. Beast was like one of my favorites next to Wolverine as a kid. I had a Beast action figure, and it was so cool to see Beast on live action on the screen.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
They definitely got the right acting for that. I wish that that they just don't know how to nail the Phoenix Saga. Only the X-Men the animated series knows how to apparently do that,
right.
Because this one was another one where Jean Grey, I knew it was coming and it just didn't land.
Yeah, wasn't too familiar with the story, so this was all new to me. But it was really cool to watch it unfold and see all those new characters. Like, the Juggernaut was pretty cool. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch. Like,
but they did that so much better in Deadpool too.
Yeah, of course. But
again,
that's 20 years later.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right.
So, I mean, it was cool. Mystique was a cool character.
I did like Mystique through the whole trilogy. Like, Jennifer Lawrence might be a better Mystique, but I really did enjoy the original Mystique from the original trilogy.
Yeah, no, she was great. She was creepy, like a dark, ominous.
Yeah, she definitely fit more in with definitely Magneto's version, just like with Magneto's like Sabretooth's in this, and then he's in Origins. But I think I like this Sabretooth more in this trilogy.
Fun fact: Sabretooth from the original is Tyler Mane, who plays Michael Myers in the Rob Zombie Halloween movies.
Yep, that is a fact. And hey, I like him in these movies, honestly. Yeah.
There he is.
He's a badass. I definitely did like his character. And I mean, the original X-Men trilogy is the original X-Men trilogy. It's historically significant. I'm really glad that these 4Ks exist. Without these movies being a hit in the early 2000s, who knows if the MCU would exist.
So without them, we wouldn't have X-Men Origins Wolverine. And I'm going to let John go first.
Yeah, Matt some reason has some love for this movie. And I'm going to tell you the two things I love about this movie. The opening, which is awesome when with Sabretooth, played by, in this film, Liev Schreiber from, I'll always think of him as Cotton Weary from the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman going through all the wars because they can't die.
Very cool.
And then eventually ending with them, they're supposed to be killed by shooting. What do they call that? When you get killed by killed by Fight Squad.
Yeah.
And then, they can't die, so they're a little confused about that. And then we get into the world of Stryker. And that's when this movie just nosedives for me. With some of the worst CGI I have ever seen in my life. There's a shot very early in the movie when they're on the plane with Ryan Reynolds, and they butchered Deadpool in this movie as well.
Nah.
I mean, he has one funny line in the elevator, but that was about it. And he knows it too because they made fun of it in the Deadpool movies. But they cut outside the plane to see it turn left because they want to sell, the plane and everyone inside, jolts and everything. But they show the plane, and I swear to God, I thought I was watching a clip from Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Well, it looked awful. And I don't understand. They cut to that. They did that later in the movie, too, where they cut with a very CGI rendered image. It's like they didn't even have to cut it. You didn't even have to cut to that. You could have just left it out. We didn't need to see that. and then, Matt, the freaking claws, when he first gets his metal claws, after the Weapon X scene.
In the bathroom at the farmhouse?
Yeah.
That was, I was like, okay, that doesn't look good. I don't know why, because this is years after, 2 or 3 movies they already did with the claws. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't understand why they felt like they had to do everything in CGI in this movie.
So I actually kind of do know why that happened. So apparently, I forget what year this came out.
I want to say it was like 08, 09 in that area.
Something like that. So apparently a version of the movie, an unfinished version of the movie got leaked onto the internet, and it was basically before a lot of the CGI was done. So it got leaked, and like a couple million people got their hands on it and watched the movie. So they rushed through all the CGI to get it out so they didn't lose out on any more money. And that could be a reason why the CGI looks so shitty.
Yeah, because it's pretty awful. But then even that, there's some stupid decisions. Like, I mean, the guy who played Stryker did a good job. I did enjoy. Mm-hmm. Like, I liked the Stryker character, and I did like how, Sabretooth, and the guy who played Gambit did really good. I hated the Patrick Stewart cameo at the end. But as bad as the film Wolverine Oranges is, it did give us one good thing, I guess, for me. I mean, Matt, I know, he actually likes the movie, which is surprising.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. Even Hugh Jackman couldn't save this movie. That's a shame, because like I've said, I love Wolverine, and he's one of my favorite characters, and I couldn't wait to see an origin story. But if you want to see a really good Wolverine origin story, just put on the X-Men the animated series and watch the episode Weapon X Lies and Videotapes, because I just watched that again last night, and it's 10 times better than this freaking movie. Tell them why you like this movie, because I need to know.
So, again, I'm a big Wolverine fan. This is just more Wolverine. There's some questionable things in this movie, as John talked about. There's a couple plot holes here and there, but I was able to look past it. I still had a great time watching the movie, because at the end of the day, it's a Wolverine movie. It's an action movie. There's some action, there's some good kills, and I didn't think it was absolutely terrible. But my biggest thing, the plot holes, is what does it for me. That, and when they change actors. I guess Wolverine forgot everything at the end of the movie because he got shot with the adamantium bullet, and he doesn't remember anything. But if Sabretooth is his half-brother, now in X-Men 1, Sabretooth looks completely different, obviously. Mm-hmm. And that really bothers me. And he doesn't talk, right? He doesn't talk at all in the first one.
He just goes,
he just transferred completely to, I don't know if maybe over time he just becomes more of a beast. I don't know. But that's one of my biggest things. And then Cyclops, Scott, whatever, doesn't remember Wolverine when he was clearly a stone's throw away from him.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. Although I did actually, one thing I liked about that scene, and it reminded me a lot in like First Class and Days of Future Past and Apocalypse, is seeing all the X-Men working together. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was cool at the end. I mean, we only get little clips of it, but that was one of the better parts of this movie.
Again, I don't hate it. I liked it a lot more. I remember liking it a lot more than I did upon my viewing for this review. Again, I would watch it again, not anytime soon, but I would watch it again. I don't hate it,
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, listen, I don't despise this movie. I at least wasn't bored to tears. I thought it was stupid, but I wasn't bored, if that makes sense. I think I could forgive a movie a little bit more for at least keeping my attention than me freaking falling asleep. So at least I can give it something for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, why don't you tell them about the game, because that's a positive.
Along with that movie was a game to accompany. And we just did a video not too long ago that this was in. And this was an amazing game. Mm-hmm. If you never played this was like one of the first superhero games that they did right. It has elements from the movie, but they also kind of added to the story and did their own thing. But it kind of follows some of the plot from the movie. But it's just a great time. There's like a leveling up system where you can upgrade your character, and the gameplay is fluent, and I think this still holds up today. This is just a great game overall, and it's a must play.
I agree. Yeah.
Speaking of, I also have the official game for the original X-Men movie. Not so good. This is one of those that falls victim to a movie tie-in game that kind of sucks.
Which is a shame, because I like the movie.
Yeah. I never even finished it, but I just have it. I wanted to throw it in the video.
Yep. So that's for the first 4 X-Men movies. Next week we're going to talk about the next trilogy of movies and also the Wolverine, which I do like stuff. We're going to dive into those 4 movies next week, and then we'll do Logan and the 2 Deadpool movies the week after that. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining us here in another episode of Let's Talk. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and you tell all your friends. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed our video on the X-Men, but I know it's Friday, so that means we have to ask our 2 digital code giveaway questions. And just like the last few weeks, we're going to give away 2 digital codes again this week, and I made some new graphics to show you which digital codes we have available. Hopefully it's easier for you guys to read on the screen. I know we had them all on one big small chart. I decided to make some smaller charts, hopefully make it easier for you guys. But this week's giveaway questions are going to be pretty simple, but I just thought it'd be some fun discussions in the comment section. So the first question is, what is a movie that you like that most people don't? And then the other question is, what is a movie that you don't like that most people love? I'll give you an example. For me, it's the first Avengers. I do not like that movie almost at all. I used to like it. I liked it the first time when I saw it in theaters, but I do not like it really anymore. And it's just because it's not the best made movie. I think once you get around the whole, this is the first time we're seeing the Avengers on screen together, you'll notice that the film itself is not the greatest. But that's a movie that I don't like that most people do. So that's an example for you guys. So just in the comment section below, and everyone be nice to each other. If you like something that somebody else really doesn't like, everyone has different taste, and that's, that's the beauty of film, right? So guys, come back to Monday's video. We'll spin the magic wheel and we'll pick our 2 digital code winners. As always, guys, thanks for being a fan of Let's Talk. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and you tell all your friends.